Welcome to this. If I'm being completely honest, I don't even know what to call it. It's a meditation event that combines it all because what I have seen is it seems like even in the wellness, spirituality, healing community, everything is getting disconnected, right? Do I work on chakras, generational healing, breathing, energy work, quantum? I mean, there's so many aspects, and they're all saying, do this, do this. And that gets kind of confusing. So, the purpose of this is putting it all into one simple practice because the point of healing is not to sit here and heal and go through all these modalities and just do this all day long, right? If we want to heal our knee, let's say, we can't have the intention of healing the knee because then we're always going to be in this position where we need to sit here and heal the knee. But we don't even want to heal the knee. We want to be out there living our life. So it's learning how to tune into our bodies so that we can create the life we want. And our pain and our challenges are coming up to show us where our attention is going. This is a simple daily meditation practice that puts it all together. We bring in the aspect of breath, so being very conscious of our breathing and bringing in that life force energy, because that is what is going to give us that healing boost, because our body already knows how to heal. It's just giving our bodies that space and that breath to heal. This is the Breathing Beauties experience where we deepen this meditation practice. We bring in all of these aspects so that at the end of this program, you have this amazing skill set and you've been practicing it. And now it's your daily habit. These are your daily skills, because in your day-to-day, that's when we experience the pain or the challenge or the trigger. And now that you've been practicing this for a number of weeks, it becomes your skill, it becomes your habit. You now have a tool to respond when stuff happens. And I mean, this weekend was a great example for me. I had all these plans on Saturday in terms of errands, getting stuff done. I go to leave in the car and the brake line failed. So I wasn't going anywhere. And absolutely, I was frustrated. I had all this stuff I wanted to do, and there was nothing I could do about it in that moment, right? Like, the brake line failed. I can't even try to drive somewhere. That would not be a very safe decision. So here I was at home. I wasn't able to go do this stuff. And then I was like, oh, I guess there is a reason why I need to be home right now. And for the next couple hours, while my husband tried to figure out what was going on, what are we going to do about the car, I just sat there with the kids, breathing and sweeping. And it was really interesting because the kids would come to me and want to be with me. And then we would have a little snuggle, and then they would go off and play. And it was this really peaceful moment that I hadn't experienced before. I would just be sitting on the porch watching my husband fix the car. And I really had nothing else to do. So I was just sitting there and enjoying it. And then it came time for supper, and he normally does all the cooking. So I'm really grateful for that. But he was busy with the car. So then I needed to. So I decided what I was going to make, and I just started kind of planning it out. And I had the time to do it because my husband was going to be busy for the next couple hours on the car. The kids seemed to be playing fine. So I just kind of la-di-da and enjoyed making supper. And then at the end of the night, I realized, wow, I had that moment where I just got to enjoy making supper, because that had not happened for me before. Before, supper was always this thing I had to make because people are hungry and I hate doing it. And I never enjoyed making supper. And I always envied people who did, if you will. And I realized I never gave myself that time to just enjoy making supper. So it's funny now to look back on how the weekend went, because by the end of Saturday, it was like I was blessed with this beautiful amount of time that I could just be with my family, right? There was nothing else I could preoccupy myself with, which was really interesting. So I got to just enjoy it, and I got to enjoy making supper, and it was fun. It was fun to create a meal for people. Having this daily meditation practice means that when stuff happens in the moment, like literally when you're driving down the road and your brakes fail, you can respond. So we're never going to be able to predict when this stuff happens. And that's why a daily meditation is so powerful. And it doesn't even need to be long. So a 10-minute meditation is golden. And if you could do a 10-minute meditation every morning, you are going to completely shift the way you think. You are going to get clear on what you want. Because I think a big reason why we experience pain or we experience all of these emotions is because we just don't know what to do. We don't know what we want. We don't know how to dream, if we're being completely honest. This is going back to when I was struggling with infertility. I was just going along with the flow, doing what society expected. Every kind of decision was aligned with the whole, would this be expected of me? And it wasn't until I struggled to get pregnant that I actually had to stop and think, well, what do I want? And that was when I had to start asking the deep questions. And the honest truth was, I didn't know. I didn't know I could choose what I wanted in that capacity. So part of this program is we get clear on what we want. We see it, because if we're not going to get clear on what we want, our attention is going to go somewhere. This is a meditation program so we can get clear on what we want. So it is going to be an 8-part series, and we'll deliver it over 8 weeks, where we'll dive into aspects, because all healing is self-healing. You can go to the best healers, the best doctors, but the truth is we have this innate healing intelligence within us, and that is what is going to heal us. Absolutely, these people can be guides for us, but it all comes down to self-healing, which brings us to the next question. What is pain? Pain is literally our body screaming out to get our attention, because where attention goes, energy flows. So when we start to deny our bodies and hide and numb ourselves from feeling, our body will literally scream out to get our attention. It's really interesting. I was working with an anesthesiologist, and she said if her patients couldn't wrap their mind around not feeling pain, like she would ask them to imagine being home with their baby, snuggling, everything went smoothly. If they could create that image in their mind, she said they use less anesthetics. And on the other side, if the patient could not wrap their mind around having a smooth, snuggly experience, she said I could give them all the anesthetics that I had and they would still feel pain, which was so fascinating to me. And that aligns so prior to my coming into meditation and energy work, I worked as an ultrasound tech, and I worked at a clinic, and we specialized in women's health and fertility. So I scanned a lot of female pelvics, and a female pelvic ultrasound, the number one indicator is pain in the pelvis, painful periods, pain. And I would be scanning these women, and I would try my hardest to find something to explain their pain, because I knew if I didn't find something, the report would come back normal and the doctor would dismiss what they're feeling. But I could visibly see these women are on the brink of tears and there is pain. So I kept trying and trying to find the explanation for their pain, and I couldn't. And it wasn't until now, into the meditation, into the quantum energy work, that I realized it was emotional pain. These women are absolutely experiencing pain, but it hadn't manifested into the physical yet. And then I think, why are we waiting? Let's work with these emotions, work with this pain. And which brings me to my next idea, that pain and emotions has to have a purpose, right? Like if we were beautifully designed and we have this beautiful intelligence within us, then everything we're feeling and experiencing has to be for us. So how can we tune into our pain and tune into our emotions? And that's the beautiful thing about this program is we talk about that. So our pain is our body communicating with us. So we learn how to tune into our bodies to receive those messages and understand that relationship, create that relationship with our body. And same thing with emotions. Emotions is just energy in motion. And it is always moving through us. And if we are at a part of our life where we're not able to express those emotions, they're going to get stored within us. And if you continue to stay in this pattern or these situations where you don't get to express your emotions, it's just going to store up, and then eventually it will manifest into a physical disease or illness. So when we learn to tune into our emotions and move that energy through us, it flows. And it's shifting what you think about emotions. Like think about anger. No one wants to think about anger, but if you can remember a time you were angry, like that's a lot of energy. Anger comes with a lot of energy. And if you're not able to express it, that's just going to sit in you. I mean, trying to suppress anger is like trying to get a beach ball underwater. It is so difficult. You use all of that energy to suppress the anger. So learning how to work with our anger is huge because we can use that. Think of the amount of anger you're storing in your body as like a unit of energy. And now you have this and you can just use that energy. Like it's so powerful. So the program is split up into 8 sections where we dive into all these aspects. So part 1 is breath. We learn to breathe in life force energy and use it for our healing, for our creation. Number 2 is body. Absolutely. We have a physical body. We need to tune into it. We need to listen. It's communicating it with us all the time. So we need to connect with our body and develop that relationship. Part 3 is emotions. So we learn how to feel and move our emotions because our emotions are here for us. They are our guides. So we're learning how to love our emotions and use them. Number 4 is presence. The moment we can be present with ourselves, we are bringing all of our energy back in, and that is love. That is how we can love ourselves. That's how we can love other people, is focusing our attention on them, right? Where attention goes, energy flows. So we want to get clear on where our attention is going. We want to be present in this moment so that we can bring in all of that loving energy for what we want. Part 5 is expression. So expressing what you want, expressing your emotions, expressing your feelings, letting it move through you. It's not meant to be stored in our bodies. We're meant to respond and express. Number 6 is intentions. So we kind of move through this whole healing part, but intentions is so important because what do you want? Because where attention goes, energy flows. So we want to make sure that we are putting all of our attention into what we want. And part 7 is surrender, because it's that understanding that the universe is so vast and there is some greater source guiding and governing, and it is open to so much more information than we could imagine. So surrendering to the idea that it is all for our best, and we can let go of the attachment to the outcome and just trust that everything will play out for our greatest good. And then part 8 is putting it all together. So you can create this daily practice. And I was chatting with a friend yesterday because she was talking about meditation and about how it's difficult for her because she gets all these thoughts in her head. And I was like, absolutely, because those thoughts are what's stored within you. So instead of just denying them and hiding them and pushing them away or getting distracted by them, that's exactly what we want is to see them. So become familiar with what's coming up. And then I gave her a really good example. So this summer, I was just on social media and I saw one of my good friends had posted a picture that she was going on another trip. And right away, even with that, like another trip, it was like this jealousy just came up. And I was like, whoa, where is this jealousy coming from? And I just tuned into my body and I realized that it triggered this want, this desire, this need to be with other women. This idea of being together. I was so jealous that she was going to gather with these other friends. And I realized that is what I want. So then I was like, okay, these meaningful relationships with women is what I want. Okay. So now I can breathe into, well, what would that feel like? What would that look like? How would I want that? So what would be my intentions around this now want, this need for being in relationship with other women? And I just breathe into that feeling. You know, when you get together with your friends and you're just having a good time and you're laughing and it just feels so good. So I was breathing into that. And then sure enough, the next weekend I had a quantum touch workshop and the attendants, the students were women and they were similar age. And we had so much fun in that workshop. By the end of the workshop, it felt like we did a weekend retreat away. And the other students were saying that too. We just had so much fun, even being virtual. And then I realized the next day, I was like, wow, that was what I was wanting. I was wanting that connection with other women. So that's an example of how we can use these. So when these thoughts come up, especially jealousy, there's so much shame around feeling jealous. And it's not that we have to do or have what everybody else has, but we're getting triggered because there is an element or a theme or there's some sort of essence in that triggered that lack that we feel within. So when jealousy comes up, that can be a great guide and a great teacher to show us where we are needing that healing. All right, so let's just jump into it. We will do a meditation practice now. So we'll do a 10-minute meditation practice where you get to experience it. I am going to start my music. So settling in to a comfortable seated position. Allowing yourself to be fully present in this moment. And we'll begin by tuning into our breath. Feeling our bodies expand on our inhale and soften on our exhale. Allowing yourself to be fully present in your breath. Feeling your body expand on your inhale and soften on your exhale. As you feel into the rhythm of your breath, bringing your awareness to your body, noticing any sensations. Allowing yourself to breathe into that part of your body. Noticing any thoughts, feelings, emotions, or memories coming up. Allowing yourself to simply become aware by being present with them. You are able to shift them as you can no longer unsee what you have just seen. And in that moment, it shifts. Letting ourselves be fully present with our breath, with our body. Feeling our body expand on our inhale and soften on our exhale. Using our breath, feel safe in our bodies, allowing ourselves to be seen. Bringing our full attention back to our bodies. Noticing any thoughts, feelings, emotions, or memories that arise. Simply observing, letting them go. Knowing that as you breathe, what is stored within your body will begin to lift, to awaken, to be seen. And all it requires in this moment is your attention and your presence, knowing that is enough to let it go. Then you can return to your breath, feeling your body expand on your inhale and soften on your exhale. Noticing where in your body you are experiencing sensation. You can place your hands there if you wish. allowing yourself to be fully in this moment with your breath, allowing these thoughts, feelings, emotions, and memories to come up, to be seen, and to be released. Letting them be expressed. Perhaps loving the version of you that held on to them. In the moment, she wasn't able to feel it, so she stored it within. And now you're in this beautiful moment where it's safe to feel and release and love this version of yourself. Choosing to shift your focus to that which you prefer, bringing in your intentions here. Perhaps it's a place, a person, a thing. Allowing yourself to see it now. And allow yourself to feel what that moment would feel like. Bringing in gratitude. It's already done. Noticing if you begin to feel resistance in your body, simply bringing your awareness and loving this part of yourself. Knowing at any point throughout your day, you can tune into your breath, tune into your body, experience this healing within. Gently open your eyes and bringing yourself back into this moment. Beautiful. So that's it. Basically, in a nutshell, that is the practice. It's a simple 10-minute. It's so deep. We allow ourselves to be present with our breath, to feel safe in our bodies, and then noticing what comes up and simply just loving that part of ourselves. And we love that part of ourselves by being present, by bringing our full attention to it. And the moment we do that, it can shift, right? Because you can see it and feel it, right? If you want to clean your house, you have to see the dirt. And the moment you see the dirt, you can sweep it and remove it. And that is the same thing with our bodies. First, we tune into our breath. We learn to feel safe in our bodies. And as we start to breathe and we continue to breathe, these thoughts, feelings, emotions, and memories will come up into our awareness. And they're coming up to be seen, to be loved. So you can be present with it, and then you can let it go. The moment we try to, when those thoughts and feelings, emotions, and memories come up and we try to deny it or we try to suppress it, that's when we get into this resistance, this fighting, this pain. But when we allow it to come up, we feel safe in our bodies, we surrender to what is this showing us? What is this telling us? It shifts. And then we get to choose what we want to feel. So when we bring in our intention, regardless of what that is, you're either going to feel the gratitude for it, or you're going to feel the resistance. Maybe then you get messaging like, I'm not good enough. That would never happen for me. Right? And what are those resistive thoughts? Where are they coming from? So we simply just tune back into our bodies. This is how we can use affirmations for us. You say your affirmation and then notice how it feels. It's either going to feel good or it's going to feel ugh. And if it feels good, awesome, you're on the right track. And if it feels off, if you feel like there's resistance, if you feel like there's like ugh coming up, awesome. Because now you're aware of where you're not in alignment with that affirmation. And you can simply just be present with yourself. Notice where that resistance is coming up from and breathe into it and allow yourself to be present, and it will shift it. So we learn how to breathe. We learn how to connect with our body. We notice what to do when these sensations come up, and we work with them. And we become present, bringing our full attention back to our body so that we can express, so that we can dream, we can ask, we can get clear on what we do want. And then we can just surrender to how it is going to show up in our lives. We can let go of our attachment to the outcome. And we put that all together into one simple daily meditation practice. So if we practice this for 10 minutes every morning, this becomes a skill. This becomes our habit. So that when stuff comes up, we can just be present and we can use this skill to respond. We can use this skill to adapt, right? When you go through your day and you suddenly notice that you're jealous or you're angry or the stuff is coming up, or why is this pattern repeating itself? You can be like, oh, right. And just tune into your body. So powerful. So I am offering an exclusive opportunity to join me for the founding of this program. So it is an 8-part series. We'll meet each week for 8 weeks. And then in the end, so really there's 7 sections that we're learning. And it'll be a really cool format when we have one section for each day of the week. So you have an element or an aspect, if you will, that we get to focus in on. And it becomes a very beautiful daily meditation practice. So we start with the breath, and then each week we layer on the next aspect. So by the time you get to week 8, this is your habit. This is how you breathe. I mean, learning how to breathe in itself is so important, because as women, like, can I stick my tummy out and breathe? If we're always trying to suck it in and control our body and constrict our body, are we allowing that life force energy to move through us? And just learning to feel safe in our bodies. That's one thing I really learned in our workshops, is when we learn to move the energy through our bodies, the moment I say thighs, hips, tummy, chest, you can just feel the energy constrict. We're just so used to numbing these parts of our bodies because there's so much that we didn't want to feel. And now we get to use our breath, create this safe space, and just let it go and release so that we can get clear on what we want and we can go do it. Thank you so much for joining. I will send an email with all the information.